Hi, welcome back to the channel. Michelle, and today I'm going to be sharing how I plan for future homeschool purchases. So I do share on my channel my budget for homeschooling, what I spend. I literally break it down for you in an Excel spreadsheet. I will link up above my most recent one for this school year. But like many people, I am starting to think forward to next school year, summer and next school year, which is the time I start breaking down my budget and spending, because I'll be completely honest, I don't have unlimited money when it comes to homeschooling. I don't have charter funds. I don't have money set aside. What I spend in homeschooling comes out of my normal everyday budget. So it's important for me to sit down and look at what I plan on spending and be really mindful with my money, because I have to make it go as far as it can. Like I said, limited income. I can't purchase everything I want. That's just the honest truth. So I was sitting down recently to start planning for purchases in the future, and I thought it'd be great to show you what I actually do, because I do think it is helpful if you're on a limited income, if you just really want to be more mindful of your spending in homeschool, because it's really easy to overspend, especially with influencers constantly, giving you stuff to spend your money on. It's easy. So this is the steps I take. So today I'm going to take you through on my Excel spreadsheet and show you how I break down my spending for the next school year, because I spend typically between probably $900 and $1,200 in a school year on my 3 kids. I have a almost 12-year-old, I have an 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So next year we're looking at 7th grade, 3rd grade, and kindergarten. So I'm going to take you through and show you how I break it down, the spending, at least for the school year, because like I said, I can't make a $1,200 purchase in 1 month. That's a mortgage payment, and that's a lot of money, and I think that should be talked about, that a lot of people, I think, are very loose with their money when it comes to homeschooling. I think, especially online, a lot of people have the money to do that, and that's great if that's your situation. But if you're like me, you don't have a lot of money to do that. So I'm going to show you how I handle it. So this is my Excel spreadsheet. I choose to do it on Excel because, as you can see, I've done it every single year. So I have a record of everything we've bought, everything I've spent on homeschooling, and that does help for tax purposes and also for me to be mindful of what I'm actually spending. I think if you write it down, you pay attention more to where your money is going. So you can see I have the next school year, 2025, 2026. Now this is my brainstorming. So the first step I have is I break down categories for my oldest, my middle child, group subjects, and my youngest child. And then within those, and I usually do this with OneNote, I will break down their subjects. So what am I using for language arts? What am I using for math? What am I using for science? So on and so on. I break that down and choose the curriculum. I don't choose curriculum just because someone recommends it or has a video on it. I really look at, is this going to work for my kid? Is it something I was already looking for, need-based? Oftentimes when you see something presented online, if you weren't already looking for it, you probably don't need it. So I do that. That's the first step. I've done that. I've broken down my kids' subjects. I've chosen curriculum that I think will work for them, looked through it, really vetted what I think will work best for them. Now that being said, this could change. I don't make my finalized curriculum choices until the summer. I know that's kind of unusual in the online homeschooling community. A lot of people are already putting out their curriculum videos for next year, but we haven't even finished this year. So yes, I'm brainstorming and thinking about what I'm going to be purchasing in the future, but I'm not actually going to purchase that until we finish the school year, because some things we finish the school year will impact next year, and same thing with summer. We do year-round homeschooling. We do subjects during summer. That will impact how the future of our school year goes too. So I think a lot of people buy too early and end up not using some of it, or completely change their curriculum ideas altogether. And honestly, that's just a waste of money that I can't afford. So right now, this is brainstorming what I've written down, but this kind of helps me break down. So you can see here, I have my oldest here, and these are the curriculum resources I want for her, my middle child, and my kindergarten, and I do have group subjects as well. So first, I put in the information, so what resource I'm going to be buying, and then the price, and then over here, I will put where I got it, or where I plan on getting it. So if it's online, it's most likely the manufacturer that puts out that resource. For example, Lightning Lit Grade 7 is cheaper on Hewitt Learning than it is Rainbow Resources. So I put that there. And then you'll see I have either where the manufacturer makes it, or thrift, books, Rainbow resources. Those are my three main things. You will not see Amazon on here. I have decided not to support Amazon because I don't really support where the company stands and the values. So no Amazon on here. So I will go through and label. For example, I'm getting handwriting, getting IEW. Where are those coming from? You can see on here. That's what this is the price here. This is where I plan on purchasing it. So the next step I have is I have a document saved in my notes. So this can be either on my computer or on my phone because they're Apple products. They go back and forth and communicate with each other. I have a listing of common sales that the curriculum I buy from when they have their common sales. These are not written in stone. Sometimes, of course, they will change, but generally having an idea of when things go on sale is helpful. So I write down when I see that sale and sometimes how much. So for example, we are in March right now. I know that Pandia Press is currently having a sale. I know Oh Freedom will have a sale. I know C will have a sale. Math Mammoth will have a sale. Those are things I know. And by knowing this, it helps me predict when I should buy things. So for example, IEW tends to have a sale in July for free shipping. That alone saves me $20, $25. So I look through here. I have my list, and I look at those sales. So for example, like I said, IEW has a sale in July. So if there's something I need to buy for IEW for the following year, I should probably purchase that in July and get the free shipping. So I will go over here and I will label May, June, July, August. May, I'm purchasing things most likely used in summer. June, July, and August, those are things used for the following school year. So I will go through, and the ones highlighted in green are the ones that typically have sales. So C, for example, is where I plan on buying science for the next school year. They're going to most likely have a sale in June. And by tracking the previous year's sales, I can tell when I can get the best price for that. Because you can see it's going to be about $123 to $130, depending on the sale. But that's a chunk of money, and that's important. Instead of paying $170 or $160, what it usually is, I can cut some of that down just by paying attention to sales and planning ahead. Curiosity Chronicles, same thing. They tend to have a sale sometime in May. I'm going to be using 2 levels, most likely, of Curiosity Chronicles next year. So saving myself money by buying everything when it's on sale. And right here, IEW, People and Places, is something I'm looking in for my 8-year-old for next year. That is something that I'm going to buy in July because of the free shipping sale. Now this says August, but I put it in purposely in August because I make all my purchases with a credit card. And so it's the following month that I know this one will specifically be paid. The rest are not like that. So I break it down, and you can see I write what month I plan on purchasing. These are the only ones that are based on sales. The rest are based on when I will need them. So for example, Hewitt Learning, Lightning Lit, grade 7. I'm going to buy that in July because I will need it for August. And Rainbow Resources, I will need some of these things for July or for the school year. So I can lump all my Rainbow Resources together. So you can see I have Rainbow Resources for Microsoft Office, Sadler Vocab, handwriting. Those are all things I can purchase in July, and that goes into that number right here. So May, I'm looking at resources I'm purchasing for summer. So my daughter wants to do Japanese. I'm looking at using that Curiosity Chronicles sale in May, and I know Lithouse usually has a sale. Lithouse Learning has a sale in May as well. There's something I want to get for summer for that for my oldest. So that's when I'm going to purchase those things. And then the nice thing about using Excel, the formulas you can put in there to add these things up for you manually. So it's done here. I know in May I'm going to have $125 set aside in my budget. It's going to be a budget line item for May that this is what I'm going to spend. And that's helpful because, again, I can't make large purchases up front. 2, it spreads out what I'm spending over time, which is a lot more doable. So June, the only thing I plan on buying, as you can see here in purple, it's color-coded because that just helps my brain kind of recognize the thing, the organization. That's how my brain works. June, I'm looking at buying conceptual science for my oldest for next year. That's when they're going to have the sale. So I know I will have to put aside $123 in June. July is going to be obviously my biggest one, my biggest expense, because that's when I'm buying a lot of stuff for the school year. Now, for example, Dimensions, I don't have in here. I do buy it from the Dimensions website, but I just buy those when my kids are ready for the next level. And I just purchased the next level, so I know that's not going to be in the May, June, July category at all. So that's why that's not purposely. That's why that number is not there. But for Rainbow Resources, I've gone through and I know I need to buy these select things and make the best use of that. So I'm not going back, I'm not paying extra for shipping, I'm not buying little things here and there, I'm making one solid purchase. Thrift books. Again, I get a lot of our books for Lightning Literature from thrift books. Sometimes I will do comparisons, so you can see here, thrift books or Rainbow Resources. Rainbow Resources does have the book available as a package as well, and sometimes it's cheaper than getting all of them through thrift books, amazingly or not. I just did the math yesterday, and it was only about $10 cheaper to use thrift books than get the entire package of books new from Rainbow Resources. But again, that will largely depend on when I go to purchase it in July, if that's still the case, if they're still on sale. So I'm going to be buying Spanish for next year. I'm going to be buying Lightning Literature for next year. And again, you can see Lightning Literature by far is going to be the most expensive because it'll be about $147 just for Lightning Literature for next year. But again, breaking it down into smaller chunks is helpful. So I know I need to budget this amount in July. That helps me put money aside because that's a lot of money. $400 isn't cheap. Some of you, that might be cheap, but that's a lot of money. You know, that's groceries. So, and then the last one I have is August. And the only thing I plan on buying in August is writing for next year. So People and Places for my 8-year-old, which again, that July sale, I'll purchase it in July and pay it off in the next statement balance in August. And Daily Learning for my oldest for writing as well, purchasing that for the coming school year. So that tells me in August I need to have $134. So this is really helpful, at least for me, because it breaks down what I need, when I need it, when to buy it because of sales, and getting the most out of the money I have. I think that's a really important lesson in homeschooling. I think a lot of us start out spending a lot more money than we need to, but really honing in on what we need. But one of the first steps to that is really narrowing down your curriculum, looking into it, not just buying it to look at it. I don't have that luxury. I can't buy curriculum just to look at it. I don't have that kind of funds. So I need to really know that what I'm picking is going to work and be honest with myself that I can do this. I can teach it. It's actually going to work for the kid in front of me, and then go ahead and plan my purchasing. So that is how I figure out future planning. Now, as you can see, this is this summer and into the beginning of the school year. Will there be purchases throughout next school year? Absolutely. I don't have teacher resources on here. So, for example, I don't have books I would normally buy or to learn more, to educate myself. I don't have that on here. That is something that will go throughout the school year. But these are going to be my main chunks of purchases for the first half of the school year. Of course, Dimensions will be in there as well. Probably sometime in September, I would assume I will be making that. But that can give me an idea of how much to spend. So I can make sure that's in my budget. So I'm not putting things on credit cards. I'm not, going into debt because I'm not thinking ahead. This is the best way I have found for my brain, my homeschool, to figure out future homeschool budgeting and planning for purchases. So I hope that was helpful. I hope it gave you some ideas of how you can kind of foreshadow and predict, your future purchases so you can get the most of the money you have for your homeschool. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If not, thank you for watching.